One of the things that I and almost everyone who travels by air dislikes are flight delays. I recall one instance where I had delays on each leg of the flight. But the way those delays were handled was very different. And as I reflected on the difference in how they were handled, it reminded me how important it was that when you're communicating during change, you still need to communicate even when you think you have no new information. Mechanical problems delayed the first leg of my flight. The gate agent announced the delay. He announced the reason for the delay and promised we would be on our way shortly. Then, silence. After about 10 minutes, I started to notice that there was a steady stream of people walking up to the gate, looking and asking for more information. At about the 20 to 30 minute mark, with still no new announcement or information, there was a noticeable shift in the energy among the people in the departure lounge and with the gate agent. People were becoming agitated. They were stressed. The gate agent was visibly frustrated with the people that kept coming to the gate asking for information. Finally, after about an almost 90-minute delay, the gate agent made the boarding announcement. But by then, people were stressed. Some were visibly angry, and almost everyone was complaining about the delayed flight and the airline in general. The second leg of the flight that was delayed was a completely different experience. I don't remember what delayed the second leg of my flight, but I do know it started with a similar announcement by the gate agent. She announced the delayed flight, why it was delayed, and ended with the usual statement about getting us boarded as soon as possible. We all sighed and settled in to wait. 10 minutes later, the gate agent announced they were continuing to work on the problem and there was no new information. She thanked us for our patience and told us they would board us as quickly as possible. She continued with both humor and empathy to give us regular updates, even when there was no new information. At one point, you could see everybody relax and laugh when she, with a quick announcement, said, "Hey everybody, we're still waiting. Hang in there, nothing new to report." Finally, she announced we could start boarding. You could see everyone was tired, but the stress levels were lower. And instead of complaining, many people were smiling. We thanked the gate agent. All of us were glad to finally be boarding the plane. This experience reminded me that as leaders, we have a choice when it comes to communicating. We can take an active role and fill any actual or potential information voids with accurate, real-time information, or we can take a step back and let others fill in the blanks with whatever information is available. Communication is an essential element for healthy and sustainable organizational change. It's why I advocate leaders communicate often and actively to engage people in the change conversation. It's also a big topic in all of our change management courses. In a recent course, I was asked by one of the participants, well, what about when you don't have any new information to give? And this question caused me to reflect on my flight delays, but it also revealed two very important issues when it comes to communication during change. The first is that it presumes that communication during change is about giving information. It's not. During change, your communication efforts need to encourage the exchange of information among you and the people affected. Your goal is to create understanding, generate insights, and enable people to move through the transition as comfortably and competently as possible to support the adoption of those new activities and behaviors. The second issue the question raised was that just because you, as the leader, stop communicating or are not communicating, it doesn't mean that communication among the people affected has stopped. They will still continue to communicate and attempt to fill any perceived information void through their informal conversation, shared stories, connecting and speculating on things, interpreting nonverbal cues and other small shifts in the environment. What has stopped when you, the leader, stop communicating is a steady stream of relevant, accurate, and helpful information. Communication isn't just about giving information or receiving information. It's an exchange. True communication is about what we see, hear, and how we know it. You are still communicating when you say nothing. However, when you choose to say nothing, you lose the ability to manage the message and the messenger. Every organizational change initiative hits a period that, as a leader, you feel there's no new information to communicate. Maybe you're waiting on some decisions, working through some additional planning, or people are navigating the transition and there really doesn't feel like there's any progress to talk about. It's easy, as with that first gate agent, to think, I have no new information, there's nothing to tell. What am I going to say? But your employees don't know there's no new information. All they know is that they're not hearing from you. And they know that things are uncertain. And uncertainty is stressful for every human being. Research has shown that we adopt information-seeking behaviors to reduce the anxiety caused by uncertainty. In a previous video, I talked about the 4 typical responses to uncertainty, and information-seeking behavior is one of them. I'll put the link below. If the information is not available from a reliable source, our brain will create the stories to fill that information void. And because we as humans are more sensitive and retain more negative information than positive, guess what? The stories we make up, the dots that we connect, the speculation are not always helpful to your change initiative. And instead of decreasing our stress level, decreasing the uncertainty associated with that change, it goes up and you're at risk for your changes not being successful. That's why, even during those periods when you think there's nothing new to say, you need to communicate actively and frequently to prevent an information void and reduce the uncertainty. That's what that second gate agent did. She kept us informed even when there was no new information. She let us know that we were not forgotten, and we felt a sense of empathy from her because of that. And you can do the same with your employees. I hope you found this video helpful. If you like the content, please hit subscribe. And if there are other topics that you would like to hear on organizational change, or if you have a particular question that you would like to explore and have answered through our channel, let us know in the comment section below. That's it for now. Have a great day.